Well, hello there. It's Brad with Rising Water Acres. If you're watching again, I appreciate it. This is your first time, welcome to the party. Well, this is going to be away from the vehicles. We're just going to kind of give you an update on everything. Pigs, they're doing just fine. We've got 5 of them in there. We've got our boar, Bart. He's in there with the other youngins. They're doing good. Beautiful day out today. It's about 50 degrees. I like it. Cows, they're off in the grass. I'm going to take you back there and show you to them after we get done with this. Piglets, they're doing good. They're getting along with the chickens. They're out here. I spilled some feed for Mama Pig. She's in there with the only one that couldn't get out because he's the chunkiest. But she's in there. She's enjoying life. She's obviously tore this up quite a bit. But that is kind of to be expected. But weather's warming up. I'm very thankful for that. This is where we used to have our one goat. I'm glad we're done with goats. But we've taken it down because the fencing got ruined when the building came up and over. The carport came up and over and destroyed it and bent the fencing all up. So we decided that we were going to go ahead and take that down and maybe figure out something else to do with it, because we want to put it to use, maybe for a sick calf or a mama pig or something like that. But let me show you what I've done for the big cows. And this is literally just to get them out here on some grass, so that way they're rooming, their stomachs, they can adjust before we send them out to big pasture. All right, so we went ahead and put up a solar charger, energizer, wired it up, got a ground rod in, nothing special, just wired it straight to this rollout fence. I got 20 of these step-in posts, so that way we can get them out here on the levee, get them on some grass. But it comes, this is the back side of the barn, by the way, but it comes from their pasture right now out here, and then just up here a little bit. You can tell they've been doing some work. They've been out here for maybe 2 to maybe 3 hours. But I mean, I don't know if you can tell that side of the fence versus this side of the fence. Pretty significant. It's not a big area, but it's enough. Oh, you can definitely tell right there. It's enough to where they can get used to that nice green grass in their rumens, so that way they don't get a stomach ache or get sick at all when we send them out to the big pasture where it's mainly green grass. So we've got these guys. I don't even know all the name. I know mine. That's Marty. Marty's looking like a good bull. You got Lightning McQueen. You got little Phoebe. Then you got June. June is as wide as a bus. We can see this goes back here, and then it connects back over there. But I'm going to try to get you a good picture of June. She's pretty wide. No bag yet. They should be calving any time, and I'll show you the calves. There's nuggets. She's definitely not happy. Just eating hay. I do need to get another round bale in there, though, while they're out here on this green grass. So I think that's what I'm going to go ahead and do next. We'll go from there. These are just kind of daily chores and what you do in the springtime to get your cattle ready to be sent out to green pasture. All right, guys, this is a continuation of the other day. Put the cows out on green grass. As you can tell, they've got her down there. Now, this is just a 2-strand poly wire, ran off of a solar charger. We're pushing about 16,000 volts. So she's hot. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take it down, and I'm gonna move it somewhere. Probably, I just heard electric fence shocking. I'm like, I'm sure I unplugged it. But I'm gonna move it over to the east side of our yard, get them on fresh grass. So stay tuned. I'll show you when it's done. All right, so I'm kind of gonna show you how I set up my 2-wire. First thing I do is I figure out how I want them to get out here. And I've got a little pathway behind this flight pen that comes out in here, and this is all fenced off. So what I'm gonna do, you can see where they were. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come out here, I'm gonna go out and around here. This is a levee. Out and around this tree, this is where the wire used to be. And I'm gonna continue to go, let them eat around this brush pile, down this levee, and then back and just make a big circle, really. And how I set up my 2-wire is kind of independent. So that way I don't have to run off another solar charger or anything like that. It's all contained with itself, and I'll show you how I hook it up, and we'll kind of go from there. All right, so first things first, when you're ready to set up a temporary electric fence, think of this, because this is the only way to get in and out. So I try to create some sort of funnel system. So what I've done is I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna angle out to this one, and there's gonna be one coming out here. So that way I can funnel them back in at night. But I've got my step-in posts all the way around down there. And then over here, there's a driveway that's full of rock and you can't put in step-in posts. So I had to come a little bit up on the levee and angle the posts out so that way I can get them in some good dirt. But I went down and around over here and then back here, just create a big circle. And I'm gonna show you, without creating a circle, how to create a circuit in order to use the electric fence. Okay, so now I have the wire set up. The way I set this up is I bought the cheapest handles possible, and if you hook the wire straight to them, they're gonna conduct. They're for making gates. So what I've done, I've used this, just put a zip tie, so that way there's no connectivity, and ran my wires. So after I've ran my wires, I try to put them where I think the cows won't try to get underneath, like right here. This is a little tall, so I'm gonna bring this down one. And in order to do these, the easiest way is just to bring it around, go back down through it, just like that. I don't know if you saw that or not, but so there's that. And I'm mainly checking my bottom wire, because if it grounds out, I'm going to lose some voltage. I don't want to lose any voltage. So I'm going over here. I've got a little bit of grass touching right there. I'm going to leave that for the time being and see what the volts are. Come over here, like right here. I've got some sticks. So I'm going to take these sticks, just clear them out of the way, so that way it's not grounding, even though that stick is not a good ground. I've got some touching right here. That could take some draw. Now I'm going to check this before I let them into it. Minimum I want to have is 4,000 volts. So come over here, and you can tell right here that I've got some wires touching. So I'm gonna come in here, break these off, keep them from touching there. That should be good. That gap's gonna be all right. And then that's about how high I want it, all the way around. This is not in any way, shape, or form meant to be sturdy enough to keep them in. It's just a mental barrier. They know what it feels like. They don't want to go through it. And in order to train them, I put a singular hot wire up around the pasture where there's the solid fence. You can see right here the funnel. Where there's a solid fence, so that way they can learn using that solid fence that they can't go through it. So they've got to back up. They're at that point where they back up now. So let me go ahead and show you, since obviously I'm not connecting. In order to create a circuit, you got to connect. What I've done, just take some wire. You can use copper if you need to. This is actual electric fence wire. And I'm going to create that circuit. Let's see if I can get you in here. So, back you out. I've taken this wire and I've just bent 290s on it. And this one's got a little lip. All I do is take this and wrap it around just like this. And that's going to create plenty of connectivity. And then I'll connect this down to this bottom one, doing the same thing. And that's a lot of surface area touching that wire. And you can reuse this over and over and over and over and over again, as long as you've got the woven wire for the electric fence. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those connected. I'm gonna go get the tester, and I'm gonna see how many volts we're at and see if that grass is impeding the flow. Okay, so I've got everything hooked up. I've got my circuits over there and one right there. So that creates a circle for the current. My charger is off right now. The charger I'm using is just American Farm Works. It's a 10 mile. You can see it right there. I like it. It's not a bad little charger, solar charger. So I just have my ground maybe 3 foot into the ground. Then I've got my insulated wire coming up here. This is just wire in case I need it. Then I've got an alligator clip coming down here. This is electric fence wire. And I've done the same thing here where I just wrap that wire around it. And that's going to give me plenty of connectivity. So I'm going to use my tester and I'm going to see what our voltage is. So first, you make sure that your fence is okay and it's blinking. Then, hopefully, you can see me. But then what we're going to do is I'm going to take my ground, this piece, I'm going to put it exactly what it says in the ground. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to touch this little brass piece to the fence. And it's going to show me. So right now, even when I'm not even touching it, it's registering that electricity. And that's right there in kilovolts, so that would be 400 volts. But if I go ahead and I touch this, that's 12,000 volts. I check both wires all the time. That bottom one, about 8,000 volts. So that bottom one is the one that's touching that grass. So I mean, it's got quite a bit of draw from just touching that grass. But I guarantee you, 8,000 volts, you're not going to want to touch that twice. So hopefully this was helpful for you. I know it's just setting up an electric fence, but it's way more cost effective. You can set it up in any which way you want. I may have $250 to $300 in this material. That's not including the solar charger. Maybe $250, $300. That's the woven wire, the reels, the handles, step-in posts. And I probably, just with that, can maybe do 1/10 of an acre. I really don't need much. I don't want to mob graze, but this is similar to mob grazing. It's what what I have to do. It's what I've got to work with. So that's all good to go. They've already been out this morning, and I let them out in the morning for a couple hours, and in the evening I let them out for a couple hours, and then they can eat hay during the day, so that way they have that roughage. But that's really all I've got for you today. That's what I've got for now. If I don't see you this evening, maybe the wife will sign out for me. But just in case, just remember, the grass is greener where you water it. Thanks for watching.